As I'm sure most of you are aware, Bungie released the alpha for their much anticipated extraction shooter Marathon on April 23rd. Today we're diving into my thoughts on the alpha and what's to come. Marathon's been a pretty polarizing topic lately. Whether people have played it or not, some are incredibly hyped and others are expecting to be dead on arrival. Like all of these tweets. This one was actually pretty funny. Extraction shooters outside of Escape from Tarkov haven't seen a massive commercial success yet, and this is coming from someone who's interested in the genre, but have never really fully dove into Tarkov because the systems and time commitment always felt so overwhelming. Before we get into this video, I do want to make a couple disclaimers. One, I'm a longtime Bungie fan. I've been playing their games since Halo 1 and have no-lifed Destiny 2 lately. 2, I am not a PvP player anymore. 3, I'm fairly new to PC gaming. 4, I rage a lot at PvP games. 5, while I played some off-stream, I didn't record too much. So most of the footage that you will see of gameplay is going to be during my streams, so you're going to see my ugly mug in the corner. And all of this information is based entirely on the alpha build of the game that we've played so far. There are updates coming constantly. With that being said, I'm approaching this with unbiased eyes. I'm not a Bungie creator, I'm not a Destiny creator, I'm not a Marathon creator. I'm just a fan trying to give my honest experience. So let's start by getting into some of the good stuff. Number one is going to be ease of access. Compared to games like Tarkov and other extraction shooters, Marathon is much more approachable. You don't need a degree to understand the basic systems, but it's not too easy. I'm not a Titan main, but your boy's got a smooth brain. The gunplay, it's a Bungie game. Of course, it feels tight, it feels responsive. It's a nice blend between arcade and tactical. It almost kind of gives a Halo Reach feel. Another thing I really loved is the interior design and the lighting. Visually, the interiors are stunning. Tight corridors, dramatic lighting. They really do a really good job of making you feel claustrophobic and tense. The audio, for the most part, the gun sounds, environmental noises, ability effects, all of that kind of stuff sounds pretty good. There are some things we'll talk about a little bit later, though. Another thing I liked is the class system, almost adding a hero shooter kind of vibe to the game. During the alpha, we got to test out 4 of the 6 runners. You want stealth, you play Void. You want aggression and speed, Glitch has you covered. You need recon, Blackbird's for you. We'll chat more about that later. And if you want a shield, I guess, you can play Locust. I didn't try them all, but I do appreciate the flexibility. There's also some really cool quality of life features I never really thought of before. The revive indicators are something I found really cool. When you down a team, you can see the bag on the ground, and if there's a little green guy over top of the bag, that means that that player can still be revived by his teammate. Once that's gone, the team is either wiped or he's left, which makes it a little bit easier for those, bag camping moments. But who does that? You don't do that. And then I also liked how they have the contract markers. You have your contract going on, you get to the POI you need to, it will show you a marker of where you need to go, so you're not stuck walking around trying to check every single laptop in the area. Despite being less sweaty than Tarkov, a mix of gameplay, interior design, they still give you that really good butt-clenching experience. Walking through corridors, checking all of your angles to make sure enemies aren't nearby, listening closely for footsteps, and of course, extracting with a bunch of loot that you spent the entire game trying to find, just to hope that nobody comes up behind you. And I got a hot take. I think a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this one, but it's the aim assist on the mouse. I'm not a PvP player. I'm new to mouse and keyboard. I appreciated having that aim assist. It is being removed for the second half of the alpha. I'm assuming they're doing some sort of A/B testing. A lot of people are really unhappy about it, but it was a nice addition, and I think with some tweaking, it could be done right, because I can't hit my shots. It is just what it is. Those are some of the main positives that I found, and of course, there are some negatives. Things like the loot. It feels a little meh. To me, important loot feels rare. Even snagging a purple backpack or a blue gun didn't really feel high stakes, but they could just be the fact that it's an alpha and I know it's all going away. Other than that, I never really saw any purple weapons. I never saw any gold items, so I can't really speak to that. I'm only talking about my experience. I do know that some of those gold and purple items have some pretty game-changing perks built into them, so I'm excited to see how that changes the landscape. Another negative is, well, the interiors and the lighting is all phenomenal. The exterior visuals are just not there. There were a few moments when I was on Dire Marsh where you're walking through the marsh and you kind of see the light coming through the trees. I was like, that looks pretty nice. But for the most part, everything's pretty bland and kind of boring. However, they have said they're still working on all of that stuff, and it is an alpha build. I know we talked a little bit earlier about the audio and how good it was. The sounds are great. My issues are the ambient noises, such as nature sounds, the ships flying over. A lot of them are way too loud, making it very easy to miss those important sound cues like footsteps. And I don't know about any of you guys, but for me, I found that the spatial audio wasn't working super great. You would hear shots and you couldn't really tell if it was coming from the left or coming from the right or coming ahead of you. So it was hard for me to kind of, differentiate where people were. I'm also going to list just a couple technical or gameplay issues that I ran into. One was server instability. There were a few instances where we were in there getting ready, looted up, and all of a sudden the game crashed. The problem with that is if you don't reconnect or it doesn't let you reconnect, you'll lose everything. But yeah, I don't think they do on Sundays usually, but hopefully they'll... Could not connect. Current. Okay, I wonder if the servers are actually just down.
Yeah, I got currented also.
Okay, yeah, that is annoying that you lose everything because of that. That happened a couple of times and it was very frustrating. I do understand it's the alpha. They were expecting the servers to break. That's fine. But in the full game release, that would be a huge problem for me. Level-based matchmaking. I think this might be one of the few instances where skill-based matchmaking might be something that I'm in for. I didn't put a ton of time into the game. I put about 30, 35 hours, and I feel like I was kind of getting used to it. However, at that point, I was already level 35 or 40, which is kind of on par with some of the people who have already played a bunch, which resulted in me getting into lobbies with streamers or other creators who have been playing since day one and already have extraction shooter experience. I don't know what's going to be like in the normal game. For the alpha, it was kind of difficult getting stuck with people your level who are just better than you because they've been playing longer or they have outside experience. The AI was another thing that I found to be a little bit of a problem. The AI was intuitive. It's cool seeing the AI, notice you and fight you and go after you and not kind of just walk into walls. However, at times they were a little bit too aggressive and sometimes a little bit too strong even. There's instances where I've loaded in, turned a corner, there's an AI right there, and they just dust me. I got Mike Tyson'd by robots more times than I can count. Another thing was Blackbird's borderline wall hacks. In an extraction shooter like this, having a character that can scan and basically just ping wherever enemies are doesn't really work together. It kind of kills the aspect of being sneaky, being able to outplay or outsmart other players. Seeing that ping over top of people kind of just ruins that, especially when you're playing a character that goes invisible and all of a sudden you're pinged and everyone knows exactly where you are. On that note, Void's invisibility, it's a little broken as well. When I say invisibility, I mean invisibility. There are times I had enemies running straight at me that I could not see, or times that I was running around enemies and they had no clue where I was because I was invisible. And then another thing that kind of bothered me about the alpha as a whole is just Bungie's lack of transparency with it. They did the whole ARG thing, which was amazing. It got a ton of people hyped, it got a ton of people involved, and then it kind of just went silent. They were like, hey, here's a trailer. The trailer was amazing, and they said you can sign up for alpha now. And that was pretty much the last we heard of it. We do know that creators received priority invites that they could give out, but that was about it. We didn't know the chances. We didn't know how many people were being picked. So it leaves a lot of people just wondering. So I just wish that they were a little bit more transparent. These are the days that we're sending out invites. This is how many invites we're doing. We're doing it this time, this time, this time. We kind of just had to figure it out for ourselves and hope for the best. And that brings me to a couple of my bigger concerns. Contracts and team play. As of right now, and as of what is expected for release, Marathon is a trio game. There's no solo queue and there is no duo queue. They've mentioned that they might look into that, but at the time of release, it is a trio game. This, paired with the contract system that they're doing, made things a little bit difficult. Even playing with friends, there's a time where you would have one contract that takes you one place, your friend has another that takes you another place, and you guys are kind of competing to get where you need to get. But then on top of that, playing with randoms, if you don't have a group of friends to play at all times, is almost impossible. The amount of times I would load into a game solo queue and have people just run off in all different directions of the map was insane, which results in one person getting downed, leaving, another person getting down, leaving, and then that's that. So I'm really hoping that they find some way to kind of implement some sort of team-based contracts where you can play as a team to get those completed, or really push and really focus on that solo queue, duo queue option. Another thing that's a little bit concerning is the player drop-off. This is an alpha. It's limited access. I do understand that. But with that being said, it's also a limited time that you can play. The fact that Steam numbers plummeted so quickly is a little bit concerning. I do know that timing didn't help. I understand that it coincided with the release of games like E33 and Oblivion remake, but in the end, those are games that are going to be here after the alpha ends. I'm sure we all know that the release date for Marathon is the same day that Borderlands 4 comes out. So they have some pretty stiff competition, and if this sign right here is anything, that's not good. And again, back on the invites and alpha and everything, the lack of transparency was just, it was rough. The invite system was randomized, which is great because I know they want a wide pool of opinions from different types of gamers, but it left a lot of people feeling left out and frustrated, especially those who spent the time participating in the ARG, getting excited for all that kind of stuff, have been with Bungie since Destiny 1 or even earlier. All those people that almost feel like they should have been invited, I'm finding a lot of them aren't. And in turn, they feel left out. There are a couple of things that I would like to see added to the game. A couple ideas that I have. Some people might not like them, some people might. Let me know your thoughts. Outgoing damage numbers. One of the cool things is when you die, you get to see a little report of all your incoming damage. It'd be nice to see an outgoing report because then I can take a look at that and go, I was really close, or oh damn, I missed all my shots.
Hit your shots, kid.
Upgrade tracking. Every single faction, which is something I didn't really get into, has an upgrade tree. Each upgrade requires credits as well as materials. I think it would be really cool to be able to select the upgrade that you're going for, and it will track the amount of materials that you need, whether it be on the HUD or in your map or in your inventory, so that you know how many more you need, versus looking at the vault going, okay, I have 3 of these, looking at the upgrade tree and going, okay, I need 6 of these, remembering, going into the run, picking up 2, coming back and going, oh, I needed 3, not 2. Another, which would be pulling from other extraction shooters, would be some sort of insurance system, where as you get further in the game, you can start to spend your credits to insure weapons so that when you die, you don't lose them. One of the things I mentioned, team-based contracts. Another thing is going to be a faster time to kill. I find that the time to kill is a little bit slow, especially as you get higher tiers and shields, but it's still slow enough where you don't really have time to react. I found it to be in a very odd place where if somebody saw me and shot me, I had enough time to kind of turn around, maybe shoot at them once or twice, but not enough time to get away, heal up, or at least very rarely. So almost speeding up that time to kill might just make it a little bit easier. One thing I really hope that they do is take inspiration from Apex for their cosmetics. I understand the game is not free. It's a $40 game, which I'm totally fine with if that creates a barrier for cheaters. However, having all cosmetics be locked behind microtransactions will be a huge problem. Apex found that nice balance where everything's unlockable. It takes some time, but you can do it completely for free. So I'm hoping that they take some inspiration in that, where you're able to unlock everything for free, or if you want a little bit quicker and you're impatient like me, you can purchase it with real money. The last couple of things are going to be a mini map upgrade, things like that, where maybe if you have a gold implant, you're able to open up your map while you're running around, or even have a mini map in the corner. Of course, a solo mode, and one big thing that they've even talked about is proximity chat. They did say that they're looking into it, they're interested in it, but there are some issues when it comes to compliances and safety. My assumption is they're probably going to be trying to get a teen ESRB rating, which might be difficult with proximity chat. So let's wrap all of this up into my final thoughts. I've kept you here long enough. As someone who is intimidated by hardcore extraction shooters like Tarkov, Marathon has been a fantastic experience. It balances accessibility and challenge well, doing it way better than something like Call of Duty's DMZ did, which just fell flat and felt dumbed down too much. I've logged almost 40 hours into the alpha and I still feel like I've barely scratched the surface. I still can't find that synthetic rubber to upgrade my vault. It is worrying how much could be riding on Marathon's success. Destiny 2 content has slowed down. Destiny 3 news is basically non-existent. I'm really hoping that Destiny and Marathon can coexist without one replacing the other. There are still about 5 months barring any delays, and honestly, the alpha is in a good spot. But I'd be open to seeing Bungie delay the release if it means more polish, a solo option, and more content. If you didn't get into the alpha by the time of this posting, there is still time. However, there are rumors of the beta being in August, which would make sense for some stress testing and final polishing before the September release. So that's my thoughts on the Marathon Alpha. I know I'm planning to buy it at launch. Are you? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel for more future content, and of course, come hang out live over on Twitch at twitch.tv/JROKing. I'll see you next time, runners.